It is the Mike Show. It's the Tuesday edition. That means Megan Huffman joins us from SHARE Greater Lynchburg and the Greater Lynchburg Community Foundation. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Great. Beautiful day out there today.
You look very festive.
Yes, it's my spring attire.
Well, but it's also Cinco de Mayo, and when I walked,
yes,
yeah,
that's
and when
right.
See, you did that just on pure brain power. You weren't even thinking about it. But me, I walked in, I got my show prep, and I went, oh crap. It's Cinco de Mayo. I'm wearing this. I mean, why didn't I wear? I have so many things that I could have wore, but I didn't. But we digress. That's not why you're here.
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
It's a festive day. Yes, I'm delighted to have some guests from Harvest Outreach Center here today. We have Maria Wood, who's the Director of Programs for Harvest, and Mary Lynn Arnold, who is long-serving board member at Harvest, and they're going to tell us a little bit about the history. We've talked a lot about the Youth Philanthropy Council and how we have the 25 local high school students from 11 area high schools narrow down to 10 nonprofits to go do site visits. Mm-hmm. Harvest was one of the organizations that they toured and learned more about and were really impressed by. And I just wanted to provide an opportunity for as many of those 10 finalists to come and hear a little bit more about what they're doing. And I believe this is the first time we may have had Harvest on the radio program. So I'm excited that they're here today to share more.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you taking time today. Maria, tell us about Harvest in generalities so that folks can get a better understanding of what it is that you do.
Yeah. So Harvest Outreach Center, we're a nonprofit. We're a school-based service. So we provide services in all of the schools in Campbell County schools and in some of the schools in Lynchburg City as well. We provide a Medicaid-funded service called Therapeutic Day Treatment. And then we have a couple of federal grants with the Department of Education that we've contracted with Campbell County and Lynchburg City. So it's their grants. They're contracting with us to continue to provide school-based services for students who maybe aren't Medicaid funded or wouldn't meet the criteria for Medicaid that they require for our Therapeutic Day Treatment program. And then we also have outpatient services as well that we do in the schools and in our office. And we have a private day school for students with disabilities called Beacon Academy that we also own. So yeah, we're more school-based focused and outpatient focused, but that's kind of the general idea of what we do during the school year. But during the summer, and kind of the main reason of why we are here, we have a big summer program that we can talk about.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, with the school-based program, about how many students do you serve in any given year?
Wow. In any given year, I'd say probably 300 to 400 students in a year total. And sometimes that number can be a little bit higher depending on if we have some students that maybe had some shorter term goals they were working on that we could kind of get in and out within 3 to 6 months. But typically it'd be about 300 to 400 kids in a year that we serve.
Is that K through 12?
It is.
All the way? Okay. Mm-hmm. That's great.
And that's not including our private school. That's just for our school-based services.
Well, tell us about your summer program.
Yeah. So our summer program is Medicaid funded, and which is why it's such a big need is because there's been some issues and challenges with Medicaid funded services right now. And so we can only get the students in services if they have Medicaid and then if they meet this very specific criteria, which can be sometimes challenging. But we provide transportation for the kids. We do therapeutic groups. We have, they all have treatment plans we're working on. We have individual sessions, but we really try to use the summer to help them really work on some skills that's harder to really focus on during the school year. And also just give them some experiences that they don't typically get, and that they might not be able to experience otherwise. And a lot of that is too, just being outside, activities that we do with them, taking them swimming, taking them hiking, really trying. We've done some ropes course. We've partnered with some other places that will work with us and let us use their facilities. And it's a really cool time to be able to just lean in, build those relationships, and help them through some things some pretty traumatic experiences that they've had at times, or just some trouble with some conflict resolution. So many different things we're working on in the summer, and sometimes transportation in itself is something we're working on. That can be a very vulnerable time, and so so that's something that we also spend a lot of focus on, and being safe and what that looks like, and those so the things that will carry over in other aspects of their life too.
And I think, too, just the continuation of those services throughout the summer is so important. So they don't have this break during the summer.
Yeah.
And it's so nice, too. They don't have to be focused on academics and trying to work on some of their other more, therapeutic goals. It really is a time that they just get to focus on themselves and, growing and building skills.
It's a big time of growth. Yeah.
Absolutely. And just kids being kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about the history of the organization.
Okay, so I was around at the very beginning of Harvest. Harvest has been around for over 20 years.
Okay.
And one of the co-founders, Carrington Connolly, grew up like a mile from me. So I've known her all my life. I'm a long-term educator in Campbell County schools. I was a teacher, a special education teacher, a guidance counselor, and a school administrator in Campbell County for 30 years.
Wow.
Carrington was a teacher in Campbell County. Okay. And from time to time, early in her career, she and I would get together and just, talk shop. And she would talk about how challenging it was to each and every day work with children in her classroom who were really, really struggling with some behavioral issues, with some emotional issues, with coping with trauma that they had experienced, and how it was just so hard on those children, and then also on the teachers and on the school personnel, to try to meet their needs educationally when they had all these other barriers, all these other things that they were dealing with. And she was like, there's got to be something, there's got to be a better way, there's got to be some kind of support that can be given to children in the school that would then help them cope with all the things that life had been throwing at them at such an early age, and allow them to grow academically, but also to grow socially and emotionally. And there really wasn't anything out there like that. And so Carrington, along with another friend that was a mental health professional, started Harvest Outreach. And they started by just providing some after-school interventions and supports at the school that Carrington was currently teaching at, and then it just kind of grew from there. That's amazing. At the time that they were getting ready to, I think, really kind of launch into the therapeutic day treatment portion of this, I happened to be the principal at one of the elementary schools, and I was one of the first schools to actually have the Harvest program in my school. And Maria was assigned to my school, and that's how
very first staff.
Very first staff at the school that I was serving in. And so that's how we met. And I just got to see firsthand how children that probably without the support, or definitely without the support of Harvest, would not have been able to be maintained in a public school setting.
Wow.
But with the support of Harvest and, wonderful staff like Maria, not only were they able to be maintained, they were able to be successful. And so I've been a huge advocate for Harvest while I was, working in my career, and then after I retired as well, just trying to make sure that, I could do what I could to support them, and that included being on the board. So,
that's great.
Yeah,
it's tremendous outcomes
testimony
as well. So, do you need anything? I realize that this type of work is specialized, but do you need either volunteers or donations, or is there anything that folks can help you with?
Yeah. There is. Summer program is really a heavy lift for us. It's not fully funded, and so we we are oftentimes accruing a loss just to simply provide that program, which is important. And that's the beauty of being a nonprofit, is being able to make some of those decisions. And we have a wonderful supportive board and in that, but it's a heavy lift. And so any community support that we can get would be so appreciated and so helpful. Some things that we would, I think, really benefit from, and the kids would benefit from, would be any businesses, any community partners that would be willing to host us for a field trip, give an experience. We have the staff who will be there to provide the interventions and make sure, we keep
supervision.
Kids, supervision, keep kids safe. But, any experiences that could be provided at little to no cost would be helpful. And it really goes a long ways. Any type of like supplies. So we have to have booster seats. Some of the kids need car seats. We have to provide like the sunscreen and the meals and those types of things. So any of those supplies types things that anybody would be, I think, willing to donate.
Life jackets.
Life jackets.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then we have some things that maybe a little bit bigger that would be cool is we really are in need of some type of gator or side-by-side, even if we could borrow it for this summer, because we are going back and forth and carrying supplies and the little campus that we're on, and I think it would really help us with efficiency. So that's something like a golf cart, but mostly like a side-by-side gator, something we could pull something on, would be awesome. If
that's great.
If anybody has one they would even let us borrow, we'll take it. So, but anything else you can think of?
Well, I was going to say, that would be amazing, and absolutely.
Yes.
But even the smaller things you mentioned, snacks. We tried very hard to make sure that we provide nutritious, well-balanced food for our clients. And so, if anyone would be interested or willing to, provide some snacks, all they would need to do is just contact Harvest and kind of talk through some things with us just to make sure that, it meets our guidelines, and we'd be very appreciative.
And that's a perfect example of the SHARE page, that we have a Shop for Good feature that allows you to connect to an Amazon wish list or Walmart wish list, and you can put all the items specifically that you need up there, and then people can just neighbors can go on and shop for the items, and they're delivered directly to you. So it's a wonderful example of supporting summer programs. We've seen groups like Jubilee Family Development Center use that and get supplies, or Boys and Girls Club, and so we definitely can get that list populated and the wish list on our newsletter. So that's great, and hopefully the community can respond with a gator.
Absolutely. You can learn more about Harvest Outreach Center if you go to sharegreaterlynchburg.org. Just type in Harvest Outreach, and we'll also link that up on this broadcast as well. Learn about the organization, learn about how you can get involved, and how you can make a donation. You can do all that on the SHARE platform.
That's right.
Well, speaking of SHARE and the Greater Lynchburg Community Foundation, how are things going?
Great. For Greater Lynchburg Community Foundation, we're in scholarship season, so we are out distributing certificates and scholarships for students across the region, Appomattox, Amherst, Bedford, Campbell, and the city of Lynchburg. So there's a lot of high schools, and those are scholarships that have been set up by donors and neighbors in our community who want to sponsor students around a certain topic specifically or very generally. We have hundreds of thousands of dollars of scholarships that are going out every year, and it's a really exciting time to be able to see those students off to their next step, and that's career and technical education, that's 2-year college, 4-year college, specific programs, and that's all happening right now. For SHARE Greater Lynchburg, we have a lunch and learn at Riverview's Art Space tomorrow. We have 1 or 2 spots remaining for that. So that's just a time of gathering where nonprofit leaders from across our SHARE community come together and share what their needs are, share what they're excited about, and learn about a deep dive on a specific nonprofit. So tomorrow, that's at Riverview's Art Space. And you've heard me talk about this mentorship program where we're training up young professionals to serve on boards of directors, and we have all of our mentorship matches of 20 mentors and mentees connected now.
Wow.
And they're going to be taking their first Board 101 class on Thursday over lunch.
Nice.
And it's going to culminate in September. And our goal is by the end of the year, at least 15 of those 20 board members or young professionals are placed onto local boards of directors. So
Nice.
more to come on that. But we're really excited about an intentional handholding and mentorship program for board development.
And for a lot of young professionals, maybe if they're new to the community, but they really, really want to get involved, making those connections is just vital.
Yeah, and the unexpected joy that I didn't anticipate was how excited the mentors are about this. These are rock star leaders in our community who are just so thrilled that there's young professionals eager and willing, and to think that there's a pipeline of future leadership that they can help lend their expertise to. They're just so willing, and I've loved seeing that. And hopefully, this is our pilot, and hopefully if it goes well, we're taking a lot of surveys and feedback along the way and kind of course correcting where needed, and then hopefully we can do this every year. That's the goal.
Well, that would be a fantastic thing, because you tend to see a lot of the same folks that maybe they're retired and they've been in top positions. Now they're serving on boards, but this is a great way to bring up the next generation.
Yes, and we're trying to lower the barriers for access. So we have a tremendous amount of diversity in this cohort, and that's very intentional. And the boards are saying, where do I find diverse, board members? And so we're, trying to create a more authentic connection here. So I think that's really cool.
That is very cool.
Grateful to many people lending their expertise for that program.
Absolutely. Well, you can learn more about all of these programs at sharegreaterlynchburg.org. There are 207 nonprofit organizations that are on the platform currently. And if you are part of a nonprofit organization and you're not on the Share platform, what are you waiting for? It's free. It's a great resource for folks to connect with our area nonprofits. They can also purchase items like we talked about, the Shop for Good tab. They can attend events. They can learn more about all types of things that are going on within our nonprofit world. So visit sharegreaterlynchburg.org. Once again, ladies, thank you so much for taking time today. We really appreciate it. Each and every Tuesday, Megan joins us with an organization from the nonprofit world, and we thank her for that.
Yep.
Coming up a little bit later on, we have your audio vault. Stay tuned for that.